What's up, everybody? How's it going? You miss me? I haven't been on YouTube in a while making videos. I've been doing little shorts if you've seen those on all my socials, but in terms of long form videos, I just haven't had time. It's been pretty crazy at the store. We've been getting a lot of wild collections in, getting all the drops ready and processing them. A little bit of travel on my end. It's been kind of hard to prioritize YouTube, but I realized I have a cube with a bunch of records I'm taking home, and I feel like I could probably do another installment of records I'm taking home from the store, which I know some of you really enjoy to see the kind of stuff that I bring with me. So I have a little box of stuff here I'm gonna show you, and if you like this video and wanna see more like it, make sure you subscribe to Too Many Records and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any videos that I put out. Also, more videos coming soon, I promise. I know I say that at the end of every video, but this time I truly mean it. I have a couple in the hopper that I'm working on that are gonna be really good, so don't forget about me. Don't you? First record is Antenna Camino del Sol. This record is a Numero Group reissue, and Numero Group is one of my favorite labels. They take a lot of music that's kind of lost to time or hard to find, and they reissue it in this glorious fashion and very thick gatefolds and nice like stout and tip-on jackets. And their curation is always really solid. Sometimes it's a little experimental or a little out there, but usually their hit rate is very high, and I would say this record blew me away. I didn't know Antenna at all, but the way it's kind of described online is like a post-punk bossa nova fusion, which is insane to think about. I don't know if I would necessarily say that about this record myself. There's elements of down-tempo, and there's elements of kind of funkier sound. There's elements of a little bit of punkier sound, some lo-fi stuff, but ultimately this record, the closest approximation I can give is maybe like a Broadcast or Stereolab. Really, really great songs front to back, a really unique listen. And the lore behind this band is interesting. I think this was like their only real compilation of music, and then I think the singer went on to do some other things, and there's a lot of information online that I have yet to dive into, but all I know is this record was great enough to keep. Self-titled album by TomTom Club. This is a side project of the Talking Heads, and it is a lot dancier and funkier than a lot of the Talking Head stuff, which I know their stuff can be very dancey and funky, but this record in particular is just an earworm front to back, and I've never listened to it front to back until I owned the record store. So I've obviously heard like Genius of Love and some of the other singles, but the whole record holds up. Every single song is great, and I don't know why I didn't own this record, so I'm changing that. This record's crazy. Bob Marley, Chant Down Babylon. Now, I am not a huge reggae or dub person. I've said this before. I enjoy bits and pieces of it, but for me, it just isn't necessarily the kind of music that I go and listen to all the time. This record is what pulled me in to this side of it because it fuses reggae with hip hop. This record, I don't even know how this came to be. I don't know the story behind it. This is a 1999 release, and it is full of incredible, incredible artists featured on these tracks. Some of the names on here, I'll just read them to you. Erykah Badu, Crazy Bone, Guru, Rakim, Busta Rhymes, Lauryn Hill, Steven Tyler, Joe Perry are on a song, which is kind of interesting, a little Aerosmith action. You got Chuck D, you have The Roots. Like, there's so many amazing MCs from this era that are kind of fusing their music with Bob Marley, and it is so good front to back. I couldn't not keep this. It's pretty rare too. I don't know if there's a repress, but I decided to keep it because it's too cool. I never really gave Poppy a fair shake. I've heard a little bit here and there, but I just kind of like brushed it off to the side. And then I listened to Poppy Negative Spaces when it came in through the shop. And now I want to go back and listen to all of Poppy because it is so wonderfully industrial in the most pop lens. There are some heavy songs on here that I feel like could fit in on a Nine Inch Nails record without a doubt. And then there's some really interesting, just, you know, indie pop songs. Her range is outrageous, and I'm really excited to dive further into the catalog. I don't know if this is considered one of her best records, but I really enjoyed what I heard. Another interesting record that fuses hip hop and R&B and jazz with the great Robert Glasper at the helm. This is Miles Davis and Robert Glasper's Everything's Beautiful, featuring a ton of amazing people, most notably to me, Erykah Badu, Stevie Wonder, and Hiatus Kaiyote, as well as tons of other really, really good artists. Just a beautiful record front to back. Some great verses, some great singing, and just like jazz stylings. It's just a perfect pairing. I love the band Cunning Linguists, and I don't really know a ton of their solo material outside of some of No's projects, but this is a project by Deacon the Villain, which is one of the main MCs in Cunning Linguists. Peace or Power is an excellent album that I think can honestly hold its own against some of my favorite material by the full band. If you hadn't heard this record like I hadn't and you enjoy their stuff, highly recommend checking it out. A couple live Radiohead things that were eluding me. This one is more official than the other one. This is I Might Be Wrong live recordings by Radiohead. Just an amazing amalgamation of some of their best tracks done live, including an early version of True Love Waits before it was eventually released on A Moon-Shaped Pool. But this pressing sounds fantastic for live Radiohead, and again, the track list is just like perfect. And then we have a 1997 live bootleg from Radiohead. It's called The Year of the Mud. This was at Glastonbury. And this is such a wonderful set of music, ranging from Pablo Honey to the Bends to OK Computer. It was just this early era that was so good. I mean, it's 2 discs of music, and it really sounds great for a bootleg. I decided to keep it just because I was shocked that it was such a clear recording. Sometimes some of these boots might be very muddy, or maybe an audience recording. I don't know if this is soundboard, but it does sound amazing. And I've never seen this bootleg before either. How about some good old classic funk? If you like the Meters and you have not listened to Funk Inc., Chicken Lickin', you are missing out. This is just some really classic funk that really holds its own. I think it's held up nicely in terms of aging well, and the whole record's a joy to listen to. I found a really clean copy in a collection recently, and I decided to keep it. I don't have a ton to say about this, but this is the new Bon Iver record, Sable Fable, which is, I guess, a combination of 2 kind of smaller projects, and both of them are excellent. I think I like the second project, which I guess is Fable more, but they're both really good. This is Bon Iver's return to form, in my opinion. I didn't love I, but this to me feels more like the Bon Iver that I love. I think there's some really magnificent songs on here in terms of the production and the grandiose aspects of it, but then there's also those very intimate and beautiful moments that Bon Iver is known for. So this was a great record. I had to grab it. James, shout out to the man, the myth, the legend up in Canada. He sold me his whole record collection recently, and I thank him for it, because there's not just an amazing amount of records that are great for the shop. There's things that I found out about that now I'm taking home. For example, this band Astrocolor, which I had never heard of. It's kind of this like jazzy, funky, down-tempo combination of tracks that has this kind of loungy feel to it. It feels like you're this person on the beach. And this is their record Paradise. And it's signed by the whole band, which is super cool. James has like 1 million Astrocolor records, including some signed test pressings, so I'm really excited to keep diving into their catalog. But this is like the perfect background music, and I bet you with like an attentive listen, it's even better. I only knew really the one big song from this record, Bombastic, but the whole record is a party. I mean, I was just saying earlier, I don't listen to a lot of reggae and dub, but Shaggy, I mean, some of his later singles were huge staples of my childhood, like Angel and It Wasn't Me, but this record was before all that, and it's fantastic. Every song, it just makes you want to just vibe. It is so good, and it's also, I believe, hard to find. I decided to take this one home. I listened to it 2 or 3 times in the shop, and each time I was like, do I need this? And by the 3rd time, I was like, yeah, I think I do. Another band that I just never really owned a record from, despite enjoying their music, this is Cypress Hill. What an incredible record out the gate. Every one of these songs is fantastic, and I don't really know their catalog on a deep level, but I do know that I didn't own any Cypress Hill, and this is, I believe, a first press, so very excited to own this, and maybe this is gonna send me down my rabbit hole. I knew about Radiohead, which was the Jay-Z Radiohead mashup record, and they have pressed it to vinyl as a bootleg, but what I didn't know was that there's Radiohead The Encore, which is 5 more tracks. It's just another awesome addition to the great tracks that we have on Radiohead, and I didn't know it existed until it was in a collection recently, so I had to add this to my collection. Tash Sultana's MTV Unplugged in Melbourne. So Tash Sultana is someone that I really enjoyed when she first came on the scene. I really liked that first EP, the one that had, I think, Jungle and Big Smoke and some of those tracks. And then later in her career, I kind of lost interest. It wasn't connecting with me as much, and it kind of just fell off my radar. But I always am curious about MTV Unplugged releases. They're usually pretty interesting at the very least, and this record has won me back into the Tash Sultana camp. This is an amazing array of tracks from her career. They're super dreamy and psychedelic and melodic, and it's just a very hypnotic, beautiful listen, and it's making me want to go back now and revisit all of those studio records that I might have not listened to or listened to very briefly. This is an awesome, awesome release, and I'm stoked to have it. Another one I never heard of before. This is a 97 release by Kid Loco, A Grand Love Story. Kind of an interesting collaboration between trip hop and down tempo and some turntablism. I think French, I believe. I believe Kid Loco's from France. So there's some kind of like French elements to the music as well at times. It's a really, really good listen, and if you like any of those genres I mentioned, I definitely think this is worth a listen, and I've never had it in the shop before, so had to take it home. This cover blows my mind every time I look at it. I wonder if I don't know if it'll do it any justice. No, it looks like even as I'm showing you on the camera, it doesn't do it justice. If you look at it in person, it's like the trippiest thing. This is a Collapse EP by Aphex Twin. Some of it's a little challenging to listen to, as a lot of his music can be, but some of it's very beautiful. And ultimately, I said, I'm willing to stick with the challenging stuff to have the beautiful stuff and this incredible cover, like this foiling. Again, I'm trying to like show it in the video and it's not showing how cool it looks in person. It's really like the way the foil shines, it messes with your mind. And last but not least, I own this record, but I do not own the record that has this on the cover. This is a classic record by Jay-Z called The Blueprint. You may have heard of it, but what is really cool about this is it is signed by producer Just Blaze, who's featured heavily on the record on many of the tracks. Just Blaze is an awesome producer, and the fact that there's a copy of this signed in this collection that we picked up, thank you, James. What a cool find. This is gonna absolutely replace my copy, because how can I not have a copy of this signed by Just Blaze? I have to have it. Maybe some other interesting signed hip hop in his collection too. Maybe you have to wait for the hip hop drop we're doing at the store in September. We have so much good stuff in the pipeline. If you're not following the Instagram, I highly recommend doing so. You get a lot of day-to-day stuff of what's happening in the store, some of the records that we're putting out, some of our plans for the next few months. The store has been doing awesome, and I can't believe that we're already crushing past 3 years and just going. So thank you so much for everyone who's been with me on this journey. I hope more of you can come out in the next coming months or year to check out the store if you're from out of town. I always love when people come in, they're like, hey, I watch your videos. It always makes me smile because it's very cool. And a lot of my customers here don't really know my videos. So it's interesting that there's these two worlds of Too Many Records, and when they collide, it's always very fun. So thank you for watching this. Like I said, more videos are coming soon. So do me a favor and take it easy.